Hey there, good morning everyone. Welcome back to the Side Quest Contact. We're going to be continuing our alien discussion, creating an alien story. And where we have gone so far is we've created a home base for a group of player characters. We've even and kind of got some good detail and some good ideas from that. We last session we did we created a character and created a medic character that will be working so that we can kind of keep our minds thinking, like, we're looking for points and things to connect so that that could be good story. Now, since we have this character, let me kind of go and take another look at it. We decided this was a medic, right? We rolled randomly that was a medic, but then we filled out the stats and such and the talents, and we have a pretty good medic here. Now, we also kind of talked about how perhaps this medic, in treating someone, notices something, picks up on something, hears something that prompts further investigation. And we can kind of relay that, and how would that be with the player characters? Well, at some point we're going to have to get the player characters in here to know what characters and careers and personalities they're bringing to the table, so we know how to wrap all those story points around those. All right, so continuing with this character, like assuming this medic was a player character. So let's kind of go with that. Now I'm going to go back into my book, and I'm going to, let's see, I need my bookmarks. Let's see, systems, aliens, systems and planets, frontiers, alien species. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Corporations, governments, campaign play. Here we go, non-player characters. This is what I was looking for. All right, let's kind of zoom in here, or make this a one-pager, and I'll zoom in. Now, cool thing about this book is that it has some pretty interesting encounter tables in it, which we could also use to think about story and story points. Um, let's see, they have all the way up through, oh yeah, plot twists. Even you can kind of have some plot twists as they're going about their missions. But we're not at the mission planning phase yet. We're still kind of building the setting. We kind of know we need to know who the player characters are, before we really get into the missions. So let's keep going with the settings. Um, Same thing with the encounters, right? So I just want to show a little bit here. So we got some star system encounters, and this is on the D66. So like like a D100 with sixes. Star system encounters and reactions. How do these ships react? And you might even plan this out in advance so you could create a story around it. Sometimes with these encounter tables, on the fly, kind of going through them and trying to make that into a story can be a challenge. That's why sometimes I'll roll encounter tables beforehand and kind of have some notes set up around that. So what is this encounter all about? Not just a random thing that's happening. All right, so on planet encounters, we might be looking at this later. Colony encounters, yeah, definitely might be looking at this later. All right, so here's where I want to be, non-player characters. So we got to think about the setting of this little station. We probably have a colony administrator, like the person who's in charge of running it. Probably have like a chief of security, chief of medicine, chief of maintenance, and a and medical as well. So as we look through here, we can kind of look at some things that might be helpful. Androids, I'm going to bypass those for now. Colonial marshals, those are kind of like the cops. They go looking for fugitives and such. And since we're not like on a prison planet or anything, may not have a colonial marshal. Now, it could be feasible because a player character may decide, I'm going to be a colonial marshal. It could be that there is a marshal's office at this station. He's stationed here because of its location. He or she doesn't work for the station. They work for the political body, whatever that might be. But yeah, the role is to monitor the sector. He's based here, she's based here, monitoring the sector, and then going after any fugitives that are passing through. And as a bonus, they could provide security if needed, if there's a colonial marshal's office there. Okay, yep, here's our ops manager. What happened? Yeah, someone who's kind of running the show, and we got some stats for, so that's good. Corporate executive, probably not going to have one of those here. Corporate killer, maybe. Cultists, maybe. ICC inspector, probably not. They're the ones who are they patrol the shipping lanes and make sure shipping is all done on the up and up. Definitely a medical doctor. We'll have one of those. Mercenary soldiers, yeah, maybe. Mining wildcatter, rogue scientist, maybe. Not a salvage expert. Probably not a pilot. It's a station, not a ship. So yeah, just kind of going through and thinking about who's going to be here, because then we can start thinking about their personalities, their wants and desires, and the things that are in their way, and start kind of putting all of that together. Now I'm going to take one of these. I'm just going to kind of, how many do I got? I mean, let me zoom out because I'm kind of confusing myself. All right, so I don't think we're going to go, I'm not going to look at Android. So, all right, so here we'll start at Marshall. 1, 2, 3, nah, 4, nah, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go with 8. I'm going to roll a D8, and I'm just going to kind of pick a, because remember, we're thinking our medic is treating someone. So I'm kind of curious of who our medic is treating. Where's my D8s? Because that might kind of get into, what the secret they're holding and what that medic might have picked up on. So it's a 7. Oops, sorry, wrong way. Okay, let's go this way. This was the 8 because I skipped pilot. Oop. I think I skipped. Oh, let's go back to the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 4, 5. Okay, let's go with the miner. All right, Wildcat miner. Let's take a look at this. Zoom back in. All right. Strength 5, agility 3, wits 3, empathy 3. Skills, stamina, close combat, survival, heavy machinery, comtech, merciless, okay, talent merciless, geology testing kit, ropes, climbing equipment, flashlight, multi-tool, digital camera, container for holding samples. Okay. So the ideas that are coming to me, kind of looking at that, is if we, because remember our medic is here to treat this person, notices something. So we can note maybe this wildcatter, this mining wildcatter, is being treated for injuries sustained in a fight, that, but the bruises are bigger, and and maybe there's like a couple fractured bones that shouldn't have been in a fight. And maybe if the medic digs, say what happened, like did oh, I just got into a fight, really, with who? Maybe that's now when our miner kind of like maybe wants to hesitate. Yeah, just a scuffle, nothing big, prompting our medic to maybe want to probe deeper or start investigating. And I'm thinking maybe perhaps what happened is that this miner got in a fight with one of those working Joe synthetics. Perhaps a working Joe synthetic refused an order, and this miner went down to check things out, said, "Hey, go do this thing." The synthetic said no. Perhaps the miner tried to get physical with it, and then the synthetic reacted. Now that's probably something they would want to keep on the down low. Right? I don't think they want that to be common knowledge, that a working Joe synthetic just refused an order and just attacked someone, or maybe not attacked, maybe just defending itself. But in either case, we have this miner who can tell whatever story it wants. Oh, it just malfunctioned. I don't know what I said it just came at me, and I had to defend myself. And we could say for the sake of the story that The miner and maybe some other people were there together and they were able to put the synthetic down. And now we have a synthetic we can investigate if the players can get a hold of that. So I'm kind of liking how this whole thing goes, right? The synthetic who refuses the order, the working Joe synthetic refuses the order, and maybe because of that, there are other working Joe synthetics who saw that, and they're processing that information in their own circuitry. Maybe one or two of those decides, I'm not going to obey the next order I get. And now we have more and more working Joe synthetics who are not complying with their orders. And then we go back to the colonists and the scientists who perhaps are advocating for them. Hey, if they're living, if they're conscious beings, we can't make them, we can't force them into labor. Versus the company agents who are like, no, these are company property, they belong to us. Versus the religious and the religious element, yeah, that's a whole lot of good stuff there. And it could eventually build. The tension's going to build. Something's going to give. And where that spark happens, that's where that's kind of that's going to be up to the players really. Because while we're presenting that story and those things to them as they're kind of going about their business, yeah, they're going to be the ones to decide what to do about it. So that'll be neat. I would like to run that game. It would be interesting to see like different groups of players and how they would handle that. And and kind of at this point, we would need the player characters. I would want the player characters to meet up with the session zero, get their characters together, talk about their background, what they do here. Um, and that's something, yeah, that's something we could take a quick look at. I wanted to see. So if we go back to the characters, here we go. The classes, Colonial Marine. That's pretty obvious, right? They're there for security, right? They maintain, just in case something happens, right? You never know what's going on. You're out in the middle of nowhere, so you need a couple of people who got some good machine guns and who know how to use them and who can protect the colony. Colonial Marshal. Talked about that a little bit. If a player wanted to be a colonial marshal, I would probably say they have an office here, and they're the only one. They're kind of on their own, but yeah, their job is to maintain contact with their authorities. If there's a fugitive coming through this place, they're gonna they could be the ones to go out and try to do something about it. And as the bonus, yeah, they give add a little bit of added security to the colony because yeah, they can fight, they can scrap. The company agent, and it's going to be the one who wants to be in the clerical work. Maybe has dreams of climbing the company ladder. It would be interesting to see how this kind of player character reacts to working Joe synthetics, refusing orders, and becoming conscious. And I think I said earlier in one of the earlier videos, I wouldn't want to do kid for this setting only because the colony is too small and too new. We haven't had time for that sort of thing to develop and for children to be born. There are some colonies out there that have families, whole families and children and a few generations of them. But this is not one of those just because of the setup we've gone with. So I probably wouldn't say no kid as a for this one. Medic, we actually made a medic, so we talked about that and how they're obviously on the medical team. Mining injuries, if there are any diseases, infections, things like that, they could be standing by to help out. Let's see, officer, probably someone in charge, right? Yeah, someone who's running one of the teams, making sure things are running smoothly. Now, since we're on a base, on a planet-side base, a pilot could be just there as reserve, like because there is a landing pad, and perhaps there is some sort of craft there that they could use to go into orbit, get supplies from a resupply ship, and then descend back into orbit. Likely a supply ship coming to this planet isn't going to want to land on it. So maybe, yeah, we got a landing pad with some kind of cargo thing. Pilot is the one who goes up and meets the ship in orbit to bring back supplies. Roughnecks, those are maintenance guys, are the ones out. Those are the or maintenance people. There's the ones going out and doing the work. Um, Getting their hands in. They got tools in their hands. They're dirty. They're greasy. They've done work. Actual physical labor. And so miners, for example, or maintenance techs. The I because in this setting, I imagine these big vehicles, right? These big vehicles may be operated partially by humans, partially by working Joe synthetics, and they have mining and drills and all that stuff kind of attached. So they kind of park in place, kind of put struts down for stability, and then a drill starts going down. And yeah, we got working Joe synthetics, and we got maybe a team of roughnecks who are there making sure that operation goes smoothly. Now, scientists could be out here. I don't imagine a big team of scientists, maybe one or two, including a player character. And because yeah, we're drilling for these rare elements to for circuitry and such. So we might need to test and do things to to that. Make sure quality testing and such. As we're bringing in samples, we do quality testing on the stuff and get the stuff ready to ship out that is good, and maybe mark for recycling the stuff that isn't good. So yeah, we could have one of those be the player characters. Now, that doesn't really sound like an exciting player character life, but we're talking about why they're here. The excitement's going to happen, like when the game starts, right? Once some conflict starts going, once some opposing ideals start clashing, and in this setting, I think we've done a pretty good job setting up some opposing ideals. Because yeah, once you put these three or so opposing ideals in a airlocked container deep in space, something's gonna give. Something's gonna go. And that would be fun to kind of watch as the players go through that and how they interact with that. And then from there, who knows what could happen. The players could handle that any number of ways. Players bring an infinite variety of solutions to the table when we set up these scenarios, and that's one of the fun things about being a DM is hearing all these infinite ways to handle things, and then trying to incorporate that and react to that. All right, friends. Well, I think we're pretty good on this alien. I think if I were running this would kind of be the point where I would stop, prepping. Well, actually, no, I would come up with names. I'd come up with names, maybe a couple paragraphs for each of the people who run the station. We don't have to go through all that, but yeah, I would come up with some names, a couple paragraphs on who they are, what they're about, and then maybe try to tie some conflicts. Like I like to write down like lists side by side, and then say, okay, this person is conflicted with that person. That person is allied to that person. This person hates that person. This person loves that person, and kind of like make this web so that when the players are involved, that kind of gives you the prompts on how these characters should react. All right, so I'll be thinking about the next thing we're going to talk about. Don't forget, if you're wanting to join my D&D game coming up on next Thursday, I'm going to put the link below. You can go check that out. Got some pretty good reviews. I'm very flattered with the reviews that have been posted. So I want to thank all of those people. And yeah, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.